Mega weekend. That's what everyone at UCF called this past weekend, as the Knights hosted a total of 7 events on campus. 6 were played by the Knights. And if you look back at everything, it was one of the busiest weekends and one of the most successful weekends in UCF history. We'll start off on Friday afternoon. Spirit Splash, of course. It was homecoming weekend where an estimated 17,000 people, according to SGA, were in attendance. It was voted the best campus tradition in 2011 by the National Association for Campus Activities. Later on in the afternoon at 5 o'clock, the women's soccer team played in the American Athletic Conference semifinals against UCF, and it ended on penalty kicks, the last one by Allie Jerry. That sealed the win for UCF, and they move on into the American Athletic Conference Finals. It was 0-0 in the game through both regulation and in overtime. Not too long after that, the women's basketball team played the first ever game on the new blacktop against Central Connecticut State. They won 65-51. 4 players were in double figures, led by sophomore Brianna Jackson with 15 points. This was also the 500th victory in the program's history. And while the women's basketball game was going on, many members of the UCF staff were actually working the AAC semifinal matchup between Memphis and Rutgers. Rutgers ended up winning that game and moved on to the AAC championship game. Now, moving back to the CFE arena, the men's basketball team played its first game on the new blacktop against Tampa. They won that game 97-72. Seniors Calvin Newell and Isaiah Sykes led the team in scoring with 23 and 21 points respectively. That was everything that happened on day 1. Now moving on to day 2 on Saturday at 2:30, the UCF men's soccer team hit the field in the AAC quarterfinals against Memphis. They had a hard-fought battle, and after giving up a goal in the 73rd minute to the Tigers, sophomore Romario Williams headed in UCF's first goal of the game in the 77th minute, and in overtime, Abdi Yusuf scored the game-winning goal for UCF. Shortly after that game ended, it was time for kickoff as the UCF football team took on the Houston Cougars. And the late game drama continued in that contest for UCF, where the Knights had to hold off the Cougars on the last drive of the game to win 19-14. And with that win, UCF is now ranked 15th in the AP poll and 19th in the USA Today coaches poll. Moving on to Sunday, the late game drama not only continued, but it got even more dramatic as the UCF women's soccer team took on third-seeded Rutgers in the American Athletic Conference championship game. And just like on Friday night, the game came down to penalty kicks, and UCF outscored Rutgers 8-7 to win the Knights' first ever American Athletic Conference tournament championship. So over the weekend, the Knights go a perfect 6-0 on campus, and if you count the road matchups for the volleyball team, they defeated both UConn and Rutgers. It goes 8-0 for UCF's athletic programs over the weekend. Of course, congratulations goes out to all of the UCF student athletes, and best of luck in the rest of their season. Go Knights and charge on. Knights fans, you can support UCF's everyday champions by joining the Golden Knights Club by calling 407-UCF-2086 or by going online at UCFGoldenKnightsClub.com.